Hi vlog, welcome back. It's Sally Edwards here, Warrior on Wheels. How are you? Hope you're all well. Do you know, I wasn't going to do another vlog for about another month or so because I've got a lot going on, but I decided yesterday that I'm having such a good time doing all these vlogs, I thought I'd sneak a cheeky little one in there in between now and next month, so you're very lucky because I've now got the bug. So yes, I wanted to talk a little bit more about what we'd previously spoken about, what I'd spoken about with the issues around mental health and how I, as a wheelchair user, combat my anxieties, etc. And I thought I'd actually take you way back and put a lot of that into context and tell you my story. So I suggest you get comfortable, get a cup of coffee, cup of tea, Earl Grey, juice, water, whatever it is you prefer. Get comfortable, buckle up, and I'll tell you my story. So, where do we begin? At the start, I guess. Back in 1994, would you believe, I began my career as a professional integrated dance performer and workshop leader. I was invited to take part in a community project that was being run by the dance officer based here in Shropshire. This was a week-long project of learning skills in the studio, culminating in a performance at the end in our local big theatre for friends and family, etc., which was a massive deal. For me at the time, I was on an employment training course, and I was working as a trainee care assistant in a day centre for people with disabilities, and the person in charge of the dance residency got in touch with my manager and said, were there any participants that attended the day centre that would be interested in going? She was looking for half a dozen or so people. So a group of people from our centre was selected, and obviously with them attending there needed to be members of staff attending as well. So I was called into the office and asked if I would like to be one of the volunteers to actually go and assist out with lunch and general care needs and mobility needs. My manager at the time knew my background as a drama student and as a fan of music, etc., and thought that this would be an environment that I would be in that I'd quite enjoy myself. And she actively encouraged me to take part, as well as being there to sort of help with the other adults from the centre when they needed the support. So that was 14 years. That was back in 1994, and that very quickly became a very serious hobby. A few months later, we had regular workshops that were set up in the county, and we would meet and develop our skills, and we got bigger and bigger and bigger to the point where eventually I was employed full time. I left my job and I was a workshop leader along with other colleagues. I was a performer myself. We toured all over the country. We toured and did workshops abroad. I've taught in Switzerland, I've performed in America. The company themselves, not including myself but other members, been to Hong Kong, Belgium, all over the place, and it was a fantastic career. And as you can imagine, being a person with a disability, going from sitting behind a desk, thinking that this was my life, I was destined to do this forever because I'm a wheelchair user, to suddenly be touring the country, touring the world effectively, more or less, being put up in hotels, being on the local radio, in the local press, national press. There was even a local TV company came and did a documentary about us, so we were on regional TV as well. So it was, I was living the dream. It was like being a rock star. but without being a rock star, I was a dance star. And we as a company became quite well established within the disability arts world here and globally, and it was pretty spectacular. Everything was going well. Back in 2012, I'd just come back from a week's residency, and I was doing some work in the office, and an opportunity came up for me to support a group of people that we knew locally were taking part in an arts event in Liverpool. So I was given a day off from the office on the Friday, and I was encouraged to go and support our friends and colleagues at this event. That's when my world fell apart. To get up to Liverpool from here, I had to initially take a taxi from my house to a meeting place in a large car park, where an accessible coach had been hired by a group of people that I was going with in the surrounding area. About 20-30 of us going. So I had to get a normal taxi from my house to there, across town, and then we were travelling up to Liverpool from there all together in the minibus. That's where the problem happened. My taxi arrived, and it was a large people carrier type vehicle, so not a saloon car. And when I pulled myself up against the side of the doorway to transfer into the passenger seat, the seat was higher up than, well, it wasn't level with the level of my wheelchair, if you understand. My wheelchair seat was down here. The level of the seat into the taxi was sort of up here, so it meant that I had to wheak myself up, use my own upper body strength to lift my own body weight up across the seat. It wasn't just a straightforward side transfer. I had to go up and then into the seat. As I did that, I felt this horrendous twang, like, I don't know if you've ever witnessed, experienced, seen or heard a guitar string or a violin string snap because it's been tightened too much. That's what I felt in my back. Instant spasms, instant excruciating pain. I didn't know what to do. So I got myself together and thought, well, by the time I get to meet up with the others, it'll calm down, it'll be fine. 5 minutes later, at the destination, meeting everybody else, I was double up in pain. I didn't know what to do. I'd made all these arrangements. I was determined I was going to go. In hindsight, I probably should have just turned around and gone back home, but I didn't want to miss out on the day out. I was looking forward to it. I was meeting my then partner in Liverpool, who lived not far from Liverpool at the time. So all these plans had been made, and I didn't want to cancel. So I spent the day enjoying myself as best I can, in excruciating pain. This lasted all day. Anyway, to cut a long story short, a few hours later, I was back home. It took me 3 hours to go from the bathroom to my living room into bed. From my living room to the bathroom into bed. I was doubled up in pain. I didn't sleep all night, and I had to ring the doctors the very next day, who came out and said, "Oh, you just badly pulled some muscles, or and it'll calm down once it stops spasming. You'll be fine. Here's some painkillers. Give it a week or two's rest, and you'll be okay." So I rang work and explained to them, so that it wasn't too serious, that I'd be back. Just needed some time just to rest. I was off work for 7, nearly 8 months. Turns out that the damage was severe ligament damage. I've had physio. I've had all sorts of treatment. I was on God knows how many tablets, different drugs for months and months, well, years. In fact, I've still got some that I could take in emergencies when I have flare-ups, because I have flare-ups every now and then. This condition, this pain, this injury will never go away. There's nothing they can do. There's no operation they can give me. It's a case of pain management. I spent 6 weeks in bed rest, 7, nearly 8 months off work. I was going back to work and was negotiating part-time hours, hoping to ease myself back into things gently and find new ways of working, because obviously my job was very physical and I needed to rethink how I was going to achieve that. Anyway, long story short, the company closed just as I was negotiating going back. We decided to disband because of withdrawal of government funding. The other freelance workers within the company decided to go their own way, do freelance work. I realised that I wasn't able to do that, so I was made redundant. So I couldn't fit everything in that I wanted to say about this subject in one vlog, so I'm doing 2 vlogs, so you get 2 for the price of 1. Way!